Yeah, GM. My name is Maurice. I am content lead at Solflare, but I wear a few hats. I've only been with the company for 3 months, but I've known them for a few years, since 2021, and I was a user and a fan before I was actually on the team. So today's actually going to be a little bit of story time. We're going to start with my story. So I grew up in New York City. Didn't really want for anything growing up. We weren't rich, but we definitely had no issues with banking access or, finances. At 19, I had a full scholarship to college, and I got hit by a car a month in. And the result was being bedridden and, having to kind of think about where I was in life. And then a year after that, my parents divorced after a family tragedy, and I had to move out of the house. And the result of all of this was me needing to learn how to manage my own finances. And I had an HSBC account, and I got a piece of mail from HSBC with a credit card in it. And essentially, that credit card turned into credit card debt. And that credit card debt ruined my credit score. And eventually, I was debanked, and I couldn't sign leases, I couldn't get direct deposits, and I basically couldn't live like a financial life. Life devolved, but at the same time, I had neighbors mining Bitcoin on home computers in 2011 and 12, and I learned about crypto, and I couldn't participate in the financial system that was the traditional one, and I couldn't really participate in the Bitcoin one either because I didn't have a lot of money, but it planted a seed, and eventually, years later, I had a friend that I gave cash. He used his Bitcoin to buy into the ETH ICO, and I used that ETH from $0 to $200 to sell and fix my credit and be able to sign leases and be able to basically get a new lease on life. So I use crypto as a tool to rebuild my financial standing, and it took years to fix my credit, actually 5 years to fix my credit. So let's do a little recap. Credit score destroyed in my early 20s, debanked by HSBC in my early 20s, couldn't sign leases, no direct deposits, no more credit cards. I remember having to go to check cashing and losing quite a bit of my money from each paycheck just to cash those checks. Turned to crypto and got really lucky, and then slowly rebuilt. I had a Wells Fargo second chance account and a top-up credit card, and it took 5 years to get my credit score back on track. In the West, crypto is usually viewed as something purely speculative, and that is changing now, but I think it's really important to kind of see that, for me, crypto solved problems that were caused by traditional finance, which is usually not what we see in the West, at least. In emerging markets, crypto is definitely seen as a lifeline, particularly with stable coins or limited banking access. And both systems have flaws, but together they could create some really unique advantages. So, this is a little bit of a funny thing for this room because most people in here probably know what banks do. So let's just double click on it for a second though. So what most people do with their banks is checking, payments, and credit, right? But we also need to acknowledge there are some limitations: geographic, socioeconomic, government issues. But let's get started. So checking and savings, right? The most basic banking products we see, they're marketed as secure places to hold your money. But at the same time, banks make a lot of money off of your deposits without giving you much in return. The US national average for a savings account is less than 1%. Checkings is even worse. There are also account minimums, overdraft fees, lots of yellow and red tape. Essentially, the systems are not built to benefit the everyday people, but they're built to benefit the banks. They control your savings and wealth, not you. Payment services. So this is one of the biggest use cases, probably ACH transfers, bill pay, debit credit cards, mobile wallets, but there's always limitations, right? Based on your history, based on your credit score, based on geography. I have 2 more little stories that I love to tell. So I bank with Wells Fargo. I use Zelle to send my wife money. when we need to pay bills or mortgage or whatever, but I'm limited. I can only send her $3,500 at once. I've called the bank. I've tried to have them lift my limit. They can't lift the limit. My other little story is trying to send money to my best friend who lives in Morocco. Couldn't send the wire online, had to go into the branch. Once I got to the branch, the banker took 40 minutes to problem solve why we couldn't get the wire to go through. Once we did get it to go through, I had to pay $40 to get that wire to him, 7 days to clear just to get to Morocco, 3 more days before he got access to that money in his account. To me, that feels pretty broken. And then the third major thing that everyday people use banks for is credit, right? Mortgages, auto loans, personal loans, credit cards. These are supposed to help us finance homes, cars, education, whatever it might be. But qualifying can be quite difficult. There are usually crazy terms, high rates, predatory fees. Often you need some financial knowledge in order to navigate it appropriately. And let's be real again, right? These terms always benefit the banks over the people getting the loans themselves. So now let's flip the script. Crypto can improve all these pitfalls. With a crypto wallet, I have full control over my money, self-custody. I control it. I have the benefits. I can earn, I could send, I could spend. I could use it at my discretion. Solana is a perfect example of this. You know, compared to the Zelle or the Morocco situations, I could send anyone in this room millions of dollars in value, costing me pennies on the dollar, and you will receive the money in fractions of a second. Lending is not quite there yet, but in crypto we do have lending, usually over-collateralized loans. It does make it a little harder to access, but even with these limitations, the opportunities are powerful. And there's a lot of room for positive disruption. I just need a sip of water. So let's give a real example that we have right now. Solflare has $3 billion idle USDC sitting in wallets, not earning anything, and it's not an accident. Stables exploded from 5 billion to over 13.3 billion today. And it was a result of meme coin trading, DeFi, ecosystem demand. But users would get USDC, participate for a little bit, swap, trade, and then the money would just sit idle. This results in billions of dollars on standby between trades. It's not only inefficient, but there's a huge lost opportunity. Billions not working for users. Meanwhile, in TradFi, the banks are taking deposits and earning exponentially more on them and giving you very little in return. So in crypto, users hold USDC to avoid volatility and wait to spend or invest while inflation erodes their value. So while crypto as a whole is not quite there yet, we're on our way to solve these problems. Loans and broader credit solutions will come. But first, we had to address some of the bigger problems standing in the way. Because if we really want to merge these two worlds, TradFi and crypto, we need to recognize both the opportunities and the hurdles. So today, Solflare has 4 million active users, $20 billion held in the various wallets around the world, and over $3 billion in stablecoins. Fun fact, about 40% of all Solflare users never leave the wallet. So only use services that are available in that wallet itself. Not too dissimilar to a banking app, right? Where people kind of get locked into that ecosystem. So there's this gap that no one's closed, and it's a huge audience, billions in idle assets, but there's no clear self-custody solution or path to earn till today. At Solflare, we believe everybody should be their own bank. We believe in self-custody, in every wallet a kingdom, on every head a crown. With just a mobile phone or a computer, you can be your own bank. The power of self-custody is really undeniable in our opinions, and it's part of our vision for financial freedom and financial independence. So Solflare Earn. This is a newer pillar of our system. No more idle USDC. Put your money to work. It's our savings pillar for our ecosystem that we're building, and it's one piece of a broader vision. Because banks make so much off of you, we believe you should be making all the value that you can off of your money. So here's a little example of what the current UI looks like. Pretty simple, pretty easy to understand. And the next thing, starting this month, is Solflare Earn, Solflare Card. We're going to be able to have people spend without the need to top up. No transfers, no bridging, just basic, straight from your wallet, you'll be able to spend with your card. Together, these pillars, earn and spend, coupled with the owning pillar of self-custody, is creating a broader vision that we're looking to unlock. First, we're aiming to be the world's initial neobank, a neobank on crypto rails. Users control their assets and they get banking grade tools to go with it. We're merging three worlds: simplicity of modern fintech, freedom and power of crypto, and then the long-term promise of financial freedom. This marks a real shift in how we think about wallets, savings, and ownership. And again, it's like a neobank on crypto rails. Designed for anyone, anywhere. This isn't just a theory. We already have 24/7 customer support. We have a massive community, and we have the vision, and we clearly have the tech that's being built and is built right now. So that's what we are today. I've shown you just a simple piece of this larger puzzle, but this is the start of something bigger. This is the merging of financial worlds, as I opened with, and with Solflare on mobile, web, or an extension, you're opening access to anyone, anywhere in the world to be their own bank. This is the future of finance: own, earn, spend. If you want to learn more about Solflare, catch me after. Thanks so much. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know if I could open up for Q&A, but I'd be more than happy to open up for Q&A. Apologies, go ahead, sir.
There is yet to have a Web3 wallet that does NFC tap to pay. Is there going to be any NFC tap to pay for Solflare anytime soon? Will you guys be the first?
So we will initially launch the spend card with virtual cards. So yes, you will be able to tap to pay with your phone, like between each other, sort of like how the Apple contact sharing works. Not yet, but that's a great thing that I will review with the team afterwards. Yeah.
On Solflare, do we have I didn't catch your whole presentation, phenomenal presentation.
Thank you.
But do we have a tab where there's it's not just an earn and a spend and own, but a learn feature where you can learn about Solflare and Solana nevertheless?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so we actually have a big resources center that we're building out. If you go to solflare.com, you will see a lot of drop-down menus and burger menus. In there, we have resources, we have education, we are building a blog, we have that 24/7 support. We also have this massive community in Discord where you could join and go learn literally about anything blockchain related. We have spaces that run all the time. We run workshops.
I'll get to that offline.
Yeah, please. Yeah, would be happy to. Your hand was up first. Sorry.
Can you please elaborate on how do you earn on the USDC? Because
Yeah.
you skipped a bit.
Absolutely. So the Earn feature is an integration with a company called Lulo. Actually, I used to run growth for them. And Lulo aggregates all the over-collateralized lending pools across Solana. So Drift, Margin, Camino, and Save, which is formerly Solend. And it aggregates between those. And with the earn feature, you have max earn and insured earn. Insured earn is like the earliest form of on-chain insurance. It's not actually insurance, but it does protect your funds against a protocol hack or some kind of breach. Whereas max earn is kind of like your classic degen lending opportunity, but the yields are boosted as a result of the insured earn capacity. So I'm happy to explain more of it offline, or you could check out our website for more information. Yeah. Any other hands? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so since this essentially gives you an alternative option compared, like a legitimate alternative option compared to the traditional banking system, I know that, like for example, credit, lines of credit,
Yeah.
all of that are very, very big in our everyday lives.
Yep.
How do you see this Solflare integrating with lines of credit, or are you planning to maybe build out some sort of like internal solution to that? Like, kind of walk me through what you have in mind there.
So, right now, that's definitely the hardest problem to solve. We kind of started from the ground up, right? Own, earn, spend, that's the basis. And then the next step would be to find under-collateralized loans. Our goal is to be a neobank on crypto rails, essentially offer you the same kind of high-end fintech or banking grade tools, but in a self-custody manner. Right now, I can't really speak to it much other than like that's our goal is to be able to offer mortgages and auto loans and personal loans. I mean, I know just real quick personal story, like we bought a car last year. We took an auto loan because instead of paying out cash outright, because we could have afforded it, because the yield I was earning on chain was greater than what I would be paying in the interest. So it made more sense just to take the loan from them, keep letting my USDC work in DeFi, and kept it moving. So there are no current solutions for that unless it's over collateralized. So you'd have to put up like 20 SOL to get a fraction of that value back. Yeah. Any other questions? Comments? Concerns? Yeah.
What are the risks with Insured Earn?
The risks with Insured Earn are really based around the protocols themselves or the smart contracts themselves. That being said, every protocol that's integrated in that system is like battle tested, audited multiple times over, and trusted by the ecosystem. So the likelihood of a hack happening is quite low. I hope that answered your question. Yeah. I got 40 seconds. Anybody else? All right, cool.
Let's give it up for Maurice.
Thank you.